Round 8 of PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland women's action took us to Walton Bridge Reserve on Sunday. The 4th place Gap FC welcoming 2nd place and undefeated Eastern Suburbs FC in a clash of the Titans. It was a somewhat cagey opening until the Gap decided to chance their hand from distance, Catherine O'Neill pulling the trigger from a long way out. Plenty of swerve in the shot, but in the end comfortably handled by Abigail Gabrielle Meta in the East goal mouth. It was always going to be a hard-fought contest, and Ruth Blackburn set the early tone, getting a yellow card inside the opening 10 minutes for this strong challenge. Soon after, and Beth Ashton had a sight on goal for the Gap, but failed to keep the shot down under heavy defensive pressure. No such problems for East Tegan Riding though, the ball popping out fortuitously to her on 25 yards, a dazzling strike from distance, and East had a 1-0 lead inside the quarter hour. Another chance for East not long after, Natalie Mueller with some fancy footwork to create space. She pulled the trigger from distance, but the shot was held. The Gap were eager to get back on level terms, and an errant throw from East gave them just the opportunity. The ball eventually nodded towards Jess Dillon. She delivered a snap shot, in it bounced, and the Gap were back on level terms at a goal apiece. Blackburn looked to put their Gap ahead for the first time, but screwed her shot wide from distance. While down the other end, Laura Harris chanced her arm from even further afield. An early release from the Gap backline put Elaine Murray through on goal. She pulled the trigger, but the Irish international was unable to keep the finish down. The hosts were still seeing the better of the chances, but East defenders were holding firm. In the end, the teams going into half-time still locked at a goal each. 5 minutes after the restart, and the visitors proved it's all about taking your chances. The cross not dealt with by a plethora of Gap defenders, the ball eventually falling to Mueller. She slotted home the finish, Eastern Suburbs back on top at 2-1. The message was heard loud and clear by Blackburn, forcing Gabrielle Meta into a low save from this drilled shot, before Dillon lost her footing at the crucial moment in search of her second goal. But the hosts were still vulnerable at the back, only inches away from conceding from this cross. It seemed like the goal could come from anywhere, and in the end it was a mistake from the Gap defence that allowed Riding in behind. She rounded the goalkeeper, slotting home into an empty net, and Eastern Suburbs now with breathing space, 3-1 ahead with 15 minutes to play. The hosts weren't going to give up without a fight, but their shot selection continued to err on the side of ambitious. This stinging free kick from Summer O'Brien forced Gabrielle Meta to collect on the second attempt. With hopes fading, Gap's attempted comeback was finally put to bed in the final minutes. Blackburn seeing her second yellow card of the match for this challenge. In the end, Eastern Suburbs seeing it out, 3-1 away from home, a big win and still undefeated in PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland action. In other Round 8 results, on the Sunshine Coast, Olympic FC fought back to share the points with Sunshine Coast FC. In Toowoomba, Southwest Queensland Thunder continued Moreton Bay's winless start to the campaign. Palm Beach suffered their first defeat, UQFC getting the points down at Malawa Complex, while Western Pride ran rampant against a hapless Souths United 6-0 to round out the results. A look at the standings after 8 rounds, UQFC hang on to top spot, Eastern Suburbs only 1 point behind and with a game in hand. Olympic, The Gap, Palm Beach, Peninsula Power rounding out the top 6 finals places, while down the foot of the table, Moreton Bay United and Souths still looking for that first point of the season. For more from PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland, be sure to check out the official website and follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. This has been a production by Football Queensland for the PlayStation 4 National Premier Leagues.